Welcome back, everybody, to the ESL CSGO Pro League. We are having a fantastic match on our hands between Virtus.Pro and, of course, we're seeing really the fall of Virtus.Pro. We're not expecting them. We weren't expecting them to be where they are. They are currently competing in relegation. My name is Dan Gaskin. I'm joined by Just Harry. Not Just Harry, but his name's Harry, but he calls himself Just Harry.
Just to make matters that much more confusing.
Just to make everything nice and confusing. But of course they're going up against North. North, I now have been told, have actually won the group stages because Mouse, they did lose to Fnatic 16-10. So that means North are sitting top and sitting nice and pretty there at the top of the table on 54 points. But there's been a lot of results going around the scene, and I'll try and kind of maneuver my way around them as best as I can and try and update you, Harry, as well as the audience. So LDLC beat Kingwin. So LDLC now find themselves trying to get out of that relegation zone. Hellraisers lost to NIP, so that means Hellraisers and LDLC are both tied on 30 points, but NIP should be okay at 36, as well as Heroic also were able to take a victory, so they'll be on 36 points as well, so they should be okay for relegation. Not good news for VP, though. Yeah. That just means that VP have to hope that Hellraisers lose again to NIP by a considerable margin, hope that their round difference is going to be better, that their score difference is going to be better. They're clutching at straws, to be honest. It's going to be very difficult for VP.
Yeah, not only that, but they have to pick up this map, right?
Against North,
so,
yeah.
I mean, it's already not looking good for them. They're going to find themselves on the back foot in a very big way. And, yeah, I mean, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky, Dan, to say the least.
The other big story, G2, there is more. Flash news.
Yeah, this is good.
G2 took down FaZe in their opening match. They're up to 48 points. They're now tied with Mouse, so they're looking in good nick to get that third place for the Dallas Finals. But with Fnatic taking down Mouse, that means Fnatic also have a slither of a chance of making it as well. Again, it will depend if they can match G2's points and if they have the round difference and all that. But at the moment, it's looking like G2 should be heading that way if they can take down FaZe once again in the next map. So it's in their hands now for G2, but that's going to be on the other stream, of course. We are going to be moving into Cash between Virtus.Pro and North. And if you don't know the map Cash, where have you been for the last however many years? But we've got a little bit of a tips and tricks about Cash for you guys at home.
Hey Future Pros! Today I'll be teaching you guys the crisscross smokes on Cash. This is a two-man execute, so make sure you and a buddy both buy smokes. This wall of smoke will allow you to take mid in a safer manner. You both have to line up with the center of this doorway. Position yourself so you and your buddy are aiming at the opposite side of this doorway. This is great for taking vent control or just securing close mid for a later strat.
The crisscross smoke, huh? I remember seeing that in week 1. I've already learned that one. I want to learn something new on Cash. But anyway, if you want to learn something new, how about you join the Legion? Of course, we've got the Lenovo sponsor. Thank you for you guys for all of your support as well. For all of their gaming laptops and PCs, so make sure to check out all of their stuff over on their website. So thanks, Lenovo, for all of your support. But it's going to be an interesting match on Cash. We touched briefly on it before Inferno. We spoke about the kind of statistics about these teams, and we said basically the Virtus.Pro are going to get absolutely slammed here. Let's be honest. Is there a saving grace? Is there any possibility VP can turn this around? I
mean, looking on past events, past kind of matchups, especially recently, there's no silver lining for us to go off. It's very, very hard to craft a story of any sort of comeback potential, partly just because we haven't seen VP play Cash a lot, and that doesn't bode well for them. It's one that they like to veto. It's one that they tend to stay away from. The only time we've seen them play it recently was up against Godsend, who are one of these teams who are competing to get in a Pro League, and I think they actually might have qualified for it by reaching that top spot, if I recall correctly. But still, I would still argue that in terms of if you start these two teams on LAN, for example, VP would smash Godsend, right? And when we saw them play this last time, online, it went in favor of Godsend, 13-16. So it was only a 3-round difference. But it's a team that I would say is a caliber below that of North, who look incredibly strong. They've been doing really well. A couple of mishaps here and there, but all in all, Cash is a map that's fairly good for them. It's one that they play a fair bit, in spite of, as I mentioned earlier, MSL saying it's not one of his favorites. I do just think it's going to be insanely hard for VP to come back from this. You can't count them out. Based on what we just saw, though, I'm not all that confident. But as we've kind of addressed time and time again, VP are this team which literally, in the space of a couple of minutes from one game to another, they can transform from being, you know, one extreme Virtus.Pro or Virtus.Pro. So, yeah.
Let's see if they can somehow keep themselves in the Pro League. But for North, they have already made their way to the finals. And let's take a quick look and get excited about what they're in store for in Dallas in a couple of weeks' time. Dallas, the place where heroes and legends are made. Apparently, I wonder whether North are going to be able to make legends of themselves when they make it to Dallas. Of course, they have already made it there. They've also won the group stage by easily bypassing Virtus.Pro in Inferno, but now we move on to Cash. And we're still waiting, of course, for all of the teams to get ready. They all have to start at exactly the same time to make sure there's no funny business. We don't want any funny business here in the Pro League. But it might just be... Could we be looking at a 16-0 is the question I'm going to put on the plate for you, and you could have a little nibble on it.
That's a little bit more difficult a question. Yeah. I feel like that's a lot down to luck if I get that right, because the pistol round can have such a huge impact. Pistol rounds are very much wild cards, so that's kind of the issue. I mean, we've seen them 16-1 in IP. We've seen them beat teams like FaZe, not necessarily comfortably because they've lost a couple of times to FaZe as well, but all the scorelines have always been close, right? And FaZe, you know, looking insane right now. We've seen them win up against a whole bunch of teams, and every time they have played on Cash, it's looked close for the most part. A 16-1 to NIP is kind of the closest we've seen them to 16-0ing anyone, so I mean, it's going to be tricky because NIP also a team that can be wildly inconsistent. At the same time, I feel like even right now, I would head my bets on NIP being able to beat VP comfortably in an online game. Yeah. So going off of the benchmarks, you know, I mean, it's not impossible. I can't definitely say whether or not we'll be seeing that. But for the sake of, you know, for the sake of argument, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say VP should be able to get some rounds at least. I really hope we don't see a 16. I actually hope we see VP surprise everyone and forge this kind of extraordinary comeback. Everyone's kind of saying no, they can't do it. That's it. You know, they're down and out. It would be amazing to see them just somehow rise from the ashes, because that's kind of very, very stereotypical of VP to go ahead and do that. It
definitely is. I mean, it's crazy to think, we look at VP, the fact that last time they came to the Pro League, they were able to take down G2. G2, who are now looking like being that third spot at the finals, and now they're just getting, well, destroyed by North. I suppose North are supposedly the best team in the league, so we can't really count them out and say that they're not performing well. Is there anything that you saw in Inferno that VP really need to change going into Cash? Like, does their aggression need to change? Does their shot calling need to change? Yeah. Is it just the mid-round decision-making?
Let me quickly flick through these notes.
You do it. You do it very fashionably.
I know. Well, you know, it's
like
important.
A newsreader with the glasses and everything.
Yeah, it's important to look good on camera. You see, you got to do that. Got to make sure it's got crisp, clean edges. And speaking of crisp, clean things, headshots would be I tell you what, the things from VP is they did a couple of good things that worked out for them, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. For the most part, it just looked very disjointed. Nothing really worked out for them. A lot of the strategies just looked very sloppy. They never had decent crossfires set up. There were a couple of rounds where I was like, oh, they could do it, you know, and it's like a 3v2. They have that man advantage, and then they still lose just because they don't trade things out properly. And in the rounds where they did win, it's because they were getting these trades, you know. Sometimes they didn't even necessarily find the opening kill. They would just be able to trade things out efficiently, as you would expect from, you know, arguably one of the best teams in the world. And they just really didn't show that. They didn't show that most basic of skill that separates teams, I would say, in Premier from teams that are in the Pro League is kind of that communication and the trust in your teammates. And we didn't see any of that. I mean, for the most part, a lot of times when they were dying, me and you were kind of complaining that there were no trades, there were no crossfires set up in the afterplants. Yeah. And that's when they did finally get the bomb down. There were just problems across the board from VP, and it's a shame to see because we know that they have such a high skill ceiling, and right now, they're down in the skill basement. I mean, you know, they're struggling.
It's just the basic things that we need to see them performing well. Well, we're still waiting for all the teams to ready up, so whilst that does happen, we are going to go for a very quick break. We'll be back in a few minutes' time.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Legion by Lenovo, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
I can't understand people watching somebody play a computer game.
It's still not a sport.
It shouldn't be on a sports network.
But I don't know if athlete is the right word.
This is your chance to actually make it into the Pro League, be a professional Counter-Strike player.
That's the thing that Mountain Dew League provides.
Kingwin, you know what? If anybody has a shot at 2-0, it's Kingwin. Beautiful Counter-Strike. You usually only see that into the professional level of things.
We are one of the youngest team in top 20. Many teams can underestimate us, and we can surprise them with our tactics, show our Polish power.
Welcome back, everybody, to the ESL Pro League. Looks like we're just about ready to get into the game between Virtus.Pro and North. It's going to be on cash. Inferno wasn't really that pretty to watch, let's be honest. It was
a slaughter.
It was a little bit dirty. I felt like I needed to take a shower after watching it. I didn't feel comfortable. I was out of my comfort zone throughout the majority of the game. Hopefully now we move into cash and VP can kind of reel me back into that comfort zone, make me feel safe, warm, like cuddled into a blanket kind of feeling. That's what I want from Virtus.Pro. But you don't think that it's really going to happen, do you? You don't think Virtus.Pro have it in them?
Yeah, one thing I keep saying is it would be amazing to see this comeback, and it would be very, very typical of VP to do things at the last minute. It's just, in moving into cash of all maps, it's going to be tricky. And actually, you know, we could listen to us blather on and on about this all day. But the game is about to start. North, they're going to be kicking things off over on the T side. VP on that CT side, and pistol round underway. You can already see North looking like they'll be boosting up a player in towards middle. Actually, 2 players getting boosted on up, and just raw aggression coming out from these guys as they make their way on through. Cajun B on the entry, and Taz going to lose his head already. The man advantage going the way of North as they grab control of mid, and Pasha to try and turn things around. Does find some damage, but the bomb's going to go down up towards A.
Yeah, Pasha just can't quite find anything, but Neo does flank round from behind. Bomb goes down now. MSL is going to position himself in a decent position. Cajun B also just watching these rotators, trying to tag anyone, but can't quite find anything. Neo continues his run of dominance, to be honest, taking a second frag now. He's going to push in. Config in a great position. Can't quite find it. Eventually, no, doesn't get it. Neo continues now. Finds his 3rd frag of the round, and it's just all down to MSL in a 1 versus 3. They do have very little health. He finds one, can't find the second though. Neo with the 4K, and then defuse to boot as well. So a nice start for VP is exactly what they needed.
Yeah, a perfect start from VP. Neo firing on all cylinders, getting himself 4 frags, securing that pistol almost single-handedly. Snacks chiming in with 1, but other than that, all eyes firmly on Neo. And this is a great start here for VP. This could be the the wind in their sails that they so desperately needed to try and prove all the naysayers wrong. And we can see them buying on down. Just the rifle for Neo. Everyone else going to be on the SMGs. Pasha with the MP9, my man, giving that gun some love. It's fantastic. And actually, North, they're going to force buy up. Don't want to leave VP in a situation where they can start to pull ahead early on. And Config, speaking of heads early on, finds that of Neo. He's going to go down. AZ with the UMP will be swiftly returned onto into a 4-on-4 we go in North. Well, it's looking like B might have been on the cards early on, but instead, they're going to just change things up and make their way back over here towards A. Now, Snacks has actually gone aggressive up towards A main. This could work out brilliantly, or it could be very, very bad. He gets spotted crossing in the smoke, and oh no, Magisk to take his head off. The man advantage turned back in favor of North as they boost up Config in mid with that rifle. Only SMGs now for VP. Bialy, I say that actually, he's gone and got himself a rifle. He's over here towards this B-bomb site, just biding his time. Playing it passive, 2 players for VP up towards A. And North, I mean, they've got plenty of time left to make their mind up. They can actually afford to scout these sites out and go into the one with the least amount of players on, especially as they rotate Taz in through mid over towards that B-bomb site. They take the gamble, leaving Pasha on A alone.
Definitely take their time here. Still 45 seconds to work with. They'd be better off pushing A, to be honest, avoiding that M4 completely. Of course, they won't know who is who and who has what. They just need to make a decision. They struggled throughout Inferno, VP. But now Bialy will find one, doesn't find the second, unfortunately. Magisk takes him down, and they have a 3 versus 2 advantage. Taz is just going to be smoked off. Does have the opportunity to push through if he wants, but instead he's just going to lurk in the smoke here. Try and getting sound signals as Cajun B does spot him, just barreling through the smoke there. And the last player, Pasha, is going to come through vents and just be taken down. Nice and comfortably by Config. So North will pull this back. It's going to be 1-1 after the early pistol round from VP. I wonder if that's going to be all their hopes and dreams just shattered instantly by North. Incredible stuff from them to be able to pull that one out.
And I mean, you can just tell the confidence on North right now. I mean, they go for that very aggressive buy. Something that, you know, it was high risk, high reward, and it does pay out for them. VP, they're instantly just going to go ahead and forego this one. Deagle's across the board. Pasha's got some utility, but that's and the armor behind him. And when I say utility, I mean a singular flash. So that's it for VP. They're relying on the raw aim on these Deags, these high-powered hand cannons, to try and hold back the might of North. And, well, already we can see the MSL's made his way towards Squeaky. AZ about to clear out A main. Does have players boosted up in middle to try and assist. And already Neo has been tagged down just a little bit by Config over here towards B. He's not looking too healthy. Forced on back to headshot to play things passively. The rest of the team now making their way out towards A. Magisk in mid. Better watch out because there's no brakes on this murder train. He picks himself up too. Snacks. Actually, he's going to put a stop to it, just being the buffer up towards A. Slams one into the face of Magisk, but the trade does come through. Neo retaining a mid, going to fall as well. It's all on Bialy. 1v4, rotating in from B.
I've seen crazier things happen. It's not going to happen today. MSL's just finishing it off.
You're right, you have seen crazier things happen. Because that wasn't that crazy.
That was definitely not crazy whatsoever. There was a murder train that apparently had no brakes, but it was stopped quite easily. So
yeah, maybe
he just stood in front of it, really.
Yeah.
If there's no brakes, he just shoved the wall there, and eventually it was shut down. But the important factor, North, 2-1 lead now. 4 AKs to work with, just 1 UMP for MSL, but look on the side of VP, just pistols. There was 1 grenade to work with, but that's already been popped across. It's not taken any health off anyone from North. Snacks is already down to 43 HP here, as North are worming their way around and trying to find any sort of entry. If they've been kind of working out the economy of VP here, they'll know that they're going to be very low. Just have those pistols so they can take their time and really decide when they want to push into a site. It should be a fairly comfortable round for them.
MSL railing some shots down on a one time with the execute coming out in mid, and Magisk once again lining them up, knocking them down. They're nothing but fleshy dominoes to him as he finds himself 3. It's all on Pasha. USP in hand, trying to rain some silence death in from afar. AZ having a good time. Why not? Pasha. The lurk comes in from Kongford, but it's MSL to find the frag. North, they take it 3-1. The buy can finally come in from VP. He must be breathing a collective sigh of relief. They can finally get those rifles to try and counteract North. But, I mean, really, we have to see them find something early on, I would say. If we let North get into that situation where they're so confident, they already are so confident coming into this, if they don't immediately kind of have that harsh reality hit them that, you know, this isn't a team you can just run rings around, then they're going to do exactly that.
I'm still reeling about fleshy dominoes, to be honest.
I know.
I mean, I don't know where my head's going, but it doesn't sound pleasant. Sounds like something I wouldn't want to play with as a child, that's for sure. Apparently Magisk knows exactly how to deal with them. Just putting bullets through them. As Nabiali is just going to try and take any sort of position to help his teammates here, but North have still managed to get their way onto the site. Pasha once again tries to go through vents. It's not going to happen either. Neo gets caught out in the smoke, and North have well and truly taken control of this site. A 5 versus 3 advantage. Make that 5 versus 2 as Config takes down Snacks. And now all to do for VP here. 2 versus 5, but there are some weak members of North.
Yeah, the issue is here, right? Everyone's tagged down low, but VP, they've been locked out of the site from the utility so early on that they've basically already given this up, and as Bialy goes down, it all falls under Taz, and they're already hunting. They've sent out MSL on that UMP to look to try and find him. Everyone else is going to try and exit safely. They know that MSL's cleared out large areas of the map, so they're just going to look to try and follow him, and at this point, they're not really too bothered if they lose anyone anyway. If they keep 4 players alive, they're going to make money. 5 would be ideal, and actually, Taz might be able to hold on to this at least. Does manage to keep the M4. That's a bit of a bare minimum, but right now it's all eyes on Magisk because he currently sits top of the board. He's been doing phenomenal with these entries over in mid. They just don't know how to deal with him, and it's not like, you know, we've seen any crazy AWP plays out from middle from north, you know, with Config kind of carrying that AWP out. No, instead it's just been Magisk with that rifle taking heads off.
I was wondering whether the AWP was going to be the saving grace for VP, maybe get it in the hands of Pasha. He did a little bit of work on Inferno when he started to be able to have it for consecutive rounds, and I thought maybe on Cash, if he was able to get it, they could have done more of that magic. But Config gets the early pick onto Neo, and now he looks for more as well. Unfortunately, falls to Taz in the end, but perhaps the damage already done. Snaz tagged down to just 7 HP, I believe. Might be 17, I don't know how my eyes are working right now, but it's 4 versus 3. Or make that 4 versus 2.5, I guess, with Snacks still being in the equation. AZ is going to be able to get this bomb down.
You just came up with my favourite VP couple name, Snaz. You know, it's Taz and Snacks together, an unstoppable duo, and brothers in arms, as they both have rifles now to hold up. The Snaz combo. Pasha's alone in mid, looking to try and go on his own right now. Has himself a CZ, has a flash, wants to try and get himself a rifle to hold on to. And Cajun B might be the player to hand one over as he walks into the crossfire they have set up. Oh, okay, Snacks looking the wrong way. Has his face removed. Cajun B going to be tagged down low, but he's looking to get the hell out of there. Taz claims a life as well over there towards the B-bomb site. They know where both these players are. The hunt is on as AZ makes his way towards that B-bomb site. Cajun B is still toying around with the idea of finding Pasha in mid, but Magisk comes around and does it for him. Taz going to go down as well. They don't save anything, so almost looking like an okay kind of worst case scenario for VP quickly turns even more sour. They have more than enough money to buy, but a little bit extra in terms of the rifles they could have potentially taken out of it would have just absorbed that cost that much more, and actually means that they could have potentially force bought into that next round with a fairly decent buy.
So we are going to see the AWP on Snacks this round, see if he can do any work, see if he can perhaps try and encourage some sort of a comeback here. Just a 4-round deficit, it's not awful at the moment, but the momentum certainly with North. Cajun B also going to have an AWP of his own. So we'll see where they're going to position themselves to try and take this fight. Bialy going to find his way into the vents once again. The vents of doom, if you are Pasha, because he seems to be dying there pretty much every round. Config is just working his way around this smoke. No one by boxes just yet, so he can back off, give that information to his team that No one is pushed up aggressively. Snacks just holding this angle. Might be greeted by another AWP, but Cajun B is shut down immediately. A bullet right between the eyes, so Snacks wins the AWP off. And the AWP is snatched up by the teammate. No, it's not actually. I thought someone had picked it up, but the AWP's still on the corpse of Cajun B. AZ was definitely looking at it, trying to jump for it, with the smoke coming down. He should comfortably be able to pick that one up, if he would like.
Pasha, he's sneaking in through mid. He could be the one to keep an eye on as he comes in from behind. There's actually no one watching the angle just yet. Magic's looking like he was going to keep an eye on it. Pasha goes for a little jog there. They might have heard that out. They're going to peek on round and config his 6th scent. The spidey senses are tingling and it nets him that frag out on a Pasha. The quick 180, the head removal. Just perfect from him to put it back into a 4-on-4. Taz and Snacks, they're going to do some serious work between them though, with Snacks. 3 frags for him. Taz rotating in from middle, going to take the head off AZ, and VP come crushing down like a ton of bricks on North in that round. A nice change from them. I mean, look at Snacks did phenomenally well. Taz holding off mid as well, but I mean, it was Snacks who stopped that push out towards the A-bomb site. He gets the bomb dropped over towards Fork, and then it makes it nice and easy for the players to rotate on up and just deny them grabbing that bomb. So 2-5 as VP do pick up that second round.
The Snaz combo.
The Snaz.
At it again. Back at it again with the Snaz combo. And VP trying to claw their way back into this. As I said, perhaps that AWP is going to be the saving grace for them. Snacks was able to out-AWP Cajun B in the previous. Can he do it again? Cajun B did take a very aggressive angle, but I guess you've got to when you're on the terrorist side. As Config, round after round, he's been working his way around towards B site. He's only been challenged once when the Deagle was in play for VP when they went for the deco. Is he going to push through the smoke? Might be able to catch Neo off guard, but he's being tagged down, just 76 HP. Does push through the smoke, but somehow spins around and slaps Neo right in the face with a bullet. Bialy is saying, what on earth happened? Thankfully, Neo and Taz come to the rescue as Cajun B finds Taz just dawdling around throughout middle. And we're into a 3 versus 3.
Pasha looking to try and take some aggression here. It's going to be a bit unwarranted as he walks into the waiting arms of AZ, who takes the opportunity in his stride, to pick that up. Extends the man advantage now, means that North find themselves with that extra man as they make their way over here towards B. Bialy is going to be alone. 1 versus 3. Push coming on through. Smoke goes out, and Bialy, he's got to try and hold this back. Buy time for the rotate to come in from Snacks, who's already looking hesitant. Not going to be rotating on through, but Bialy, like we said, peeking on out, will go down to Cajun B. And now Snacks rotating around with the AWP in the retake. Probably the least ideal gun to have in this scenario, but he might be able to make some magic happen. Cajun B going to have an AWP of his own, currently residing in towards Checkers. Snacks got to try and find the man on the site. It might not be the Big Apple, but Snacks is still hungry. He wants to try and pick this up. Coming on through for his team. So many angles left to check, and he does actually spot the player on the site, but MSL going to take his head clean off. And look at him there, slumped up against the boxes. Defeated, head hung in shame. As North, they pick up the round, and they reset the economy of VP.
Our VP slowly hurtling themselves out of Pro League, or at least into the relegation anyway. If they lose this map, they will be competing in the relegation matches against the people trying to promote themselves from Premier. Certainly not where I expected them to be at the end of the season, but I'm sure there are many fans as Cajun B finds an opening frag onto Pasha as well. He was trying to get aggressive, see if he could find anything. The rest of VP are just going to hold their fort, hold these angles. Maybe I would have liked to see something a little bit different from VP in this situation. I'd like to see them all aggressively push someone, but instead they're just going to sit like ducks and wait for North to push in. And North should be able to comfortably rattle them off one by one. Easy pickings it should be with the weaponry that they have. Just going up against pistols, and then we have it 7-2. Maybe VP being a little bit too conservative there. I would have liked them to get a bit aggressive, do something a little bit different, try and surprise North. But no surprises were had. And we are at 7-2, Harry.
Yeah, the AWP going to be on Pasha, and this could be perhaps a bit of a turning point. Up until now, Pasha hasn't found a single frag. He's done some damage, but that has been it. And now that he's got that AWP in hand, we said how, it was quite nice to see him, quite refreshing to see the AWP out on Inferno. Can it make all the difference? Oh, he's already going to lose his life down in mid. Cajun B taking that first frag, putting North in a great spot early on, leaving them very much in the driving seat. And Snacks got to watch out because Magic is here and he's spraying on through. Looking to try and open things up and extend that advantage that much more. Player will be boosted up in the form of Taz. Snacks is here as well. That smoke going to go down as Snacks just falls on back in a relative safety over towards Fork, with the Molotov will push him back. And they'll look to try and catch him out, but actually going to pop flash himself on through. Second pop flash comes out, but Magisk turns away, and AZ's there to reinforce. All of this falling onto the shoulders of Taz. The rotate already coming in from Bialy. Neo going to be on the site soon as well, but Taz doesn't get anything done. 2v4. The bomb still not even down yet. And you know what? You try to hand it over to your other. You try to hand it over to you, Dan. I'm sorry there. But oh my God, AZ! He doesn't give us time for transitions. That man just takes heads clean off. And there we go, 2-8. North 6 rounds ahead on the back of an amazing performance across the board. But really, I'm looking at Magisk and Cajun. Phenomenal stuff from them.
Another Rico for VP. Now they're going to try something a little bit different now. Do you go for a full 5-man stack? Do you go for a rush through middle? Looks like a pretty default setup, unfortunately. But I guess at this point, maybe they have just giving up. Snacks is just going to poke out, see if he can do anything with the 5-7 here. Does rattle down Magisk somehow, so it's a 5 versus 4, but in comes Cajun B just to finish him off. But he is slightly out of position. We will see the rest of Virtus.Pro try and take him down. Pasha just finally getting his first kill with the Deagle there, and it's a 3 versus 1. Make that 2 versus 1. Just config on his own now. So are Virtus.Pro going to make this round work just with pistols here?
Yeah, they invested next to nothing, and now it's all on config. 1v2. Making its way over towards middle. You can see that Neo's gone aggressively up towards B. Gets a lot of information on the back of this, but it does leave Taz to face off against config. And if he makes the decision to peek out mid, this could be terrible. Neo is in a great spot to peek on out, but it's going to be Taz to find the frag. And VP on the back of just pistols, no armor. They go ahead and they win themselves a 3rd round. 3-8 right now. Still very much in this. There's still the opportunity for them to try and forge an epic comeback. They will have a double AWP set up in play. Snacks and Pasha with that. Curious to see how they opt to play this. I imagine we're going to be seeing one over towards A and then one out mid, but you could see one of these guys try and take the peek over towards B, but no, instead they opt to go for the A and mid split.
That's one of the first times we've seen North really be punished for their sheer aggression, to be honest. They knew the VP were going to be on the eco. They pushed out aggressively to mid, and they were all caught with their pants down, to be honest. VP just able to rattle shot after shot and catch each North member off guard. Speaking of being caught off guard, we saw Taz trying to creepy crawly through the smoke, but he's hit right in the forehead with a bullet. And now they're a man down. Is Neo going to be aggressively pushed by this North roster here? Or are they just going to take their time? Of course, plenty of it to work with, as smokes still come through just to try and delay this round a little bit more. I don't want to see anything too crazy from North now. They can certainly just work together, push, execute, and they should be able to take this round. If they go for anything a little bit silly, they might be caught off guard by one of these AWPs from Virtus.Pro.
Actually, it's Snacks who's going aggressive into Squeaky, going to be the player off the grid. Bialy finds config over in mid, and now rotating back up over towards A. It's Neo on B who continues to slay, and well, things could be going VP's way as the push comes on throughout towards A. Bialy going to go down. Now it's all on Snacks. In Squeaky gets himself 1. Magisk, oh, okay, Snacks, what a monster you are. Gets himself 2. And okay, this could be the comeback coming in from VP. A bit of a change in momentum. You can tell they're feeling more confident as they find themselves a 2nd consecutively. And we might be clutching at straws here, but little things like that can be the thing needed to give you that wind in your sails, the return to form. Let's hope as VP now find themselves only 4 rounds behind.
Those clutch moments, they give you a little bit of adrenaline. They can pump you up, you get excited, and having that adrenaline just running through your veins certainly helps in these situations. I think North slightly overcommitted. There was a man just aimlessly wandering through middle and he got caught off guard. Perhaps he could have been working with his teammates and they could have pushed through A and then executed, and it might have worked out a little bit better, but VP won't mind. As you said, perhaps this is the comeback that they so desperately need if they're going to have any chance of not being in relegation. But AZ does kick things off onto Taz, thankfully. Neo will get one of his own. Config going down. Bomb looks like it's also going to be planted here at the A site. And VP are going to have to go for a retake.
Yeah, they're rotating players on round. Now, this is the issue. They only played one guy up towards that A bomb site, and they've just left it for the retake. Now, they've got plenty of utility to expel still in towards that site. North do have more, however. Magisk in a bit of a risky position. If Pashu checks this, he should be able to pick this frag up. And he should have been able to see his head there. Now, Magisk hopping on over towards the forklift. They find themselves 1 frag early on, but Bialy is there to trade things back into a 3-on-3. Bomb time is ticking down. They've got to go fast if they want to try and make this work. And already, with Snacks' positioning, they've made that call to save. So North, they're going to go ahead and pick up a 9th, but it is somewhat on VP's terms. You can see they're locking down this site. They're not letting anyone save. AZ will be the one survivor. And the one thing that inspires a bit of confidence for me there is that VP made that decision. It's not like North out-aimed them necessarily. It was kind of a mixture of a risky retake decision early on that didn't pay off. They admitted their mistakes. They've saved themselves up 2 ops. They've got money to buy into this round. So all is not said and done just yet. And I think if VP pick up 6 rounds, it's going to be looking at like a good bastion of hope for them to focus on into the second half at least.
And that was where the struggle came from Inferno, really, with Virtus.Pro, was their mid-round decision-making. Certainly on their terrorist side, they were really struggling as to where they wanted to push. They were leaving it too late. And it's nice to see them to make a decision nice and early there with the retake. Say, no, look, we need to save these weapons. But Bialy's going to get slightly aggressive. The flash actually means he does survive. But there's going to be several members of North running into his M4. He only gets the 1 in the end before the trade comes off. Now KGB's going to push in and find the AWP kill onto Neo. They have a man advantage. It's 4 versus 3. They are going to push onto this site with Molotov. They have all the utility as well. VP just stuck behind all of this smoke as they're going to try and get this bomb onto the site. Can Pasha find anything with these random aimless AWP shots? Looks like the answer is no. No one's going to be frustrated by a lucky shot today. And now VP once again have to make that decision, Harry. Do we go for the retake or do we save this?
No, definitely not. Right, retaking this B-bomb site with 2 AWPs is almost a near impossible task. They had a nice bit of utility, but it does make more sense for them to go to the save. They're a man down heading into it. They haven't exactly been hitting their shots reliably, and even for a team that has been hitting those shots, heading into it, when you're locked out the site, there's still a lot of utility left on North to try and keep them out that much longer. You've got 2 AWPs, so you've got very little mobility. The one thing that they can do is lock down these angles at least, and that's what we're seeing now from Pasha, as he does just dispatch of AZ there as he looks to go hunting. Puts it back into a 3-on-3. They keep the double AWP set up for the next round. Taz going to maintain that M4. It does mean North get themselves a 10th, so playing very conservatively with those weapons. But once again, I mean, it's the right decision to make. That's kind of the sad part is, you could have argued they should have gone for that, but if they had, the situation in this round would have been abysmal had they lost. The buy would have been near on impossible. And this time, when you look at it, it's fairly formidable. You've got 2 AWPs, 2 rifles, the UMP on Neo, which is incredibly, viable strategy at this point in the meta. So things aren't that bad for them here, and they could find themselves with a 5th.
The trouble is with this double setup is that North have been able to quite comfortably walk on into sites ever since the double AWPs come through. Really need these shots to be hit. Bialy in a very important position once again. Is he going to be able to catch anyone out? Yes, he does find Config. Looks for a second. Can't get it, though. MSL and AZ pick up a kill each. Now the smokes will come off, and they're going to get this bomb down once again. Now VP have to go for the retake, because, of course, it's the last round of the half. Pasha trying to do what he can with the AWP here. Does have a little bit of utility with his teammates as well. But they need to move, and they need to move very quickly if they're going to be able to get a 5th round on the board here.
The one handy thing is that Magic is actually on the flank, and if they hear this out, then it's going to be great for them. But if they don't, and they don't, he now comes in and can just line them up. Start wrecking these players as they come in on the retake. They do manage to deal with him, and now suddenly things get dangerous. It's a 1-on-1. MSL in the site alone, playing it in through the smoke. Gonna hear Pasha hop down, spots him moving up onto the site, and takes his head off. The half gonna go to the North, 4-11. What an explosive first half. Join us for the second after a very quick break.
(11-4) to North after the first half then, and perhaps we are finally seeing VP being secured in the relegation zone, or is there hope, Harry? I keep asking you this question, and I keep hoping that you'll say, yeah, they're going to come for a comeback, but unfortunately I think I know the answer.
The one thing that does lean in their advantage a little bit is we saw a couple of players being the ones to step up. And normally that's a bad thing, but on your CT side, it's terrible. But heading into that T side, you can use that one player who's having a great game to just go ahead, make his way into sites, go in swinging, and try and open things up. But I'm clutching at straws to find, to try and find things to remain hopeful on VP here. I hope they can make it a closer game. I hope we can see them pull things back. If they get the pistol, we know suddenly it does become a little bit more possible. We could see them potentially bring it back to a 7-11 scoreline, and at that point, they're only a couple of rounds behind North, so it's not looking terrible. I think the double AWP setup, something that you said towards the end, and originally I was thinking, it could be a turning point for them in a great way. If anything, I think it was the thing that held them back the most. When you're kind of playing how VP are right now, which is leaving it down at the retakes a lot, you're losing control of B a hell of a lot, and that became a huge issue towards the end. You can't have a double AWP setup in that retake, and I don't know why they kept trying it. They would head into a scenario, it would be a 3-on-4 almost guaranteed, because Bialy over towards that B bomb site was the only player getting work done. And then the AWPs just didn't step up. But, they didn't even bother going for the retake because you've got two of,
they didn't want to throw away the AWPs either.
Yeah, not only that, but the AWP just isn't a good gun to try and retake a site with, especially on that B-bomb site when you've got a North who are not only hitting their shots, but just had buckets of utility left over.
They did, and I'm worried for VP now going into their CT side, into their T side, to be honest, because if we look at the North CT side from Inferno, how aggressive they were getting when they knew their opposition were on those eco rounds. That's something that we weren't really seeing from VP, mainly because they didn't really get that chance because they were constantly behind. But North were just like, oh, okay, they're on an eco, let's just get in their face, let's do the business, let's finish this round. They tried to do it a little bit during their T side then. They were saying, okay, they're on their eco, we can be a little bit more random and sporadic here. We saw a couple of players get caught out through middle that perhaps they could have had a more significant advantage going into this second round if they hadn't done so. So hopefully it won't punish them going into the second half. I'd like to see them continue their aggression, but perhaps not over-aggression, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. And, once again, it's kind of the case of when it comes down to it, they've clearly been... It's just the knowledge of the game and how confident they're feeling means that they can afford to go for that aggression. They've got a comfortable lead, and if they get this pistol, then we're going to see boatloads of aggression coming out from them. But, aggression aside, let's see how the second half does pan out, as already VP just sprawling out towards this A bomb site. They go rushing on in. AC prepared to take some heads off. Only gets one. It's Cajun B instead. Up from rafters. Oh my god, Cajun B gets himself 3, and he's going to be in the money. 4-12 as North go ahead and pick up that pistol. I don't think that VP could have asked for a more damning start than Cajun B rising from the mist and presuming to click on heads.
Cajun B getting 3. You did say that you wanted to pursue your career as a rapper. I think that's a good start. You're certainly getting there with all your rhyming.
It's tricky, but it's the life we chose to live.
It is indeed, but this isn't the life that Virtus.Pro were hoping to live with, to be honest, being at the rock bottom. Well, not quite the rock bottom, but almost there, at the bottom of Pro League. Sitting in that relegation zone, and several members getting tagged up by that grenade as well. Just the scout on Neo, can he do any crazy things with it, or is he just going to be shut down immediately by Config waiting around? No, it's MSL who actually will do the damage, and now Config comes in to clean up the rest. It's just an easy peasy lemon squeezy game for North at this point in the game, to be honest. Now they should be able to close this one out, Harry. They've been able to just perform so successfly throughout both maps, and VP now losing that pistol looks like it might be a massive hindrance for them.
And, that was the worst case scenario from their perspective. Now we're going to see North fairly comfortably arrive at a 4-14 scoreline before VP can get the opportunity to buy. Config has already got that AWP because of the killing spree he went on in the previous round over towards B, misses that first shot. And now VP looking to try and make their way out over towards this A bomb site. And actually only Magisk is here with the Famous, able to find one. Config over at B does this dispatch of Neo. Bialy's able to get one in retort. Bomb tries to go down, but Taz will be eliminated by AZ. Pasha alone, naked, afraid. Glock, the only thing he had by his side, and he will go down in mid. 4-14, 10 rounds the difference. At this point, a tiny bit closer than Inferno was. The tiniest bit closer than Inferno was. But now we're going to be seeing VP on the buy. AKs across the board. They don't have an AWP to counteract the mighty Config, and actually Magisk with the auto sniper.
Well, if that's not going to rub salt in the wounds, then I don't know what will. As you said, a little bit closer than Inferno, but kind of the score lines that we were expecting, judging off previous results from both of these teams. VP really not performing, but North really shining at the top of this Pro League, and now moving through to finals. they're going to be feeling hot with momentum coming through from these games.
Neo, please. No, not like this, Neo. Oh, not like this. That's not how it's meant to go. Magisboy with the auto sniper just shutting these guys down. Has the crossfire set up with Cajun. And I mean, if I was Neo, I wouldn't be feeling so much as tilted. I would be physically 270 degrees the wrong way round. And now it's all Pasha and Snacks who do pull it back into a 2-on-3, back into the realms of possibility. Now they make their way out over towards this A bomb site. Push coming out from Squeaky. They still haven't dealt with Cajun B, who's up towards A main, playing this perfectly. Crossfire set up nicely with Config over towards the truck. Now the push coming in through middle. Snacks trying to get this bomb down. They're just railing shots through the smoke. You gotta watch out. And MSL just peeking on through. Snacks trying to push through the smoke. Gets rallied with bullets. And will go down. 4 to 15, sorry, is North. They're gonna arrive at match point.
270 degrees is a very specific angle you've got for there. I feel like you've thought about that far too much.
Or maybe nowhere near enough, because the angle I picked wasn't good enough.
No,
well, I nearly said 180, but then I realized
it depends what angle you're starting at to how much you've tilted, I guess. So don't beat yourself up too much about it.
I feel like we're taking this down at mathematical levels it was never intended for.
Well, we move into potentially the final round.
Look at North. Here we go. 5 AWPs. Yeah, no, they're confident. They're good. 5 AWPs versus 5 AKs. The ultimate question. The one that everyone's asking. Snacks. At least going to find Cajun. And let's see if the AWPs can make it work. North, the ultimate. The ultimate disrespect. Yeah.
A lot of bad manners from North, but I guess when you're sitting pretty at the top of the table and you're comfortably winning a game like this, why not go for a little bit of flair? It's not really paying off at the moment. They are a man down. I wonder whether VP will be well aware of these 5 AWPs, and MSL just looks away as Snacks creeps round through the vents, and now there are just 3 remaining. Can they do work with these AWPs, or are they going to be punished for their flashy decisions? Well, Config finds 1, but goes down to Snacks. Just 2 remaining now. This is going to be a very difficult retake, so it looks like VP are going to be able to put their 5th on the board unless we see something insane from North, to be honest. They'd be sensible just to save their weapons, but considering they bought 5 AWPs in the first place, they could do anything this round, but it does look like they are going to be retreating and saving them very sensibly, but I don't really expect anything sensible coming from North from any point here onward.
Yeah, I mean, the age-old question. Does drop AWP mean win game?
Apparently no.
No, is the lesson that we just learned. All it takes is Snacks, the AWP killer. He's been struggling a little bit here and there up against players with rifles, but my god, if you hand him an AWP, he will have no trouble annihilating these guys. Currently trying to pull his team on up, get them out of relegation. The only player in double digits for VP. And the same can't be said for North. They've got everyone in double digits. Cajun B right up there at the top of the board. At least VP find themselves another round to stay in this another day. They're going to juggle all these AWPs around there or to find like a scavenger hunt organised by North. The buy coming in now. And yeah, playtime is over. They gave VP that kind of 1-round buffer. They've still got 2 AWPs in play, but the double AWP setup is one that's fairly common. VP, they've got a double AWP setup over on the T side at that. And already AZ. And MSL over towards mid, trying to lock this down early on. And Config, he's got aggressive over there towards B.
North very aware of the scorelines elsewhere. Mouse, of course, losing earlier means that they definitely secure their first place in the groups, which is why we are witnessing them trying things like a 5 AWP setup. Would have been nice for them to end it in style, but they are just going to have to deal with this efficiently and go back to playing the business style, to play the normal style. See if they can do anything in this round to just finish this game up. The VP do seem to perform better when their backs are against the wall. Late on in Inferno they looked a little bit better, but as I say that, Neo just walks into the crosshair of Config and gets a bullet straight into the belly button. Something that I imagine is not very comfortable, to be honest.
I mean, their backs can be more against the wall. Their backs are now arguably part of the wall.
They've molded to the wall.
Yeah.
They are the wall. And currently we are north of the wall.
Bialy's been boosted on up. 3 players now looking to make their way out towards A main. Cajun B, he's already gone aggressive. They do take that peek and they don't find that opening frag. That could have been the difference maker. Magisboy's been boosted. Bialy does at least deal the damage down range on MSL in mid. 4v4, the push coming out towards A. There's only 25 seconds left, but Cajun B going to go down. Magisboy only able to get 1, and Bialy's doing some more damage. Still wreaking havoc over in mid. It's all on Config. 1 versus 3, AWP in hand. Looking to try and clutch this out, making his way up towards middle, spots out the first player, goes for the flick, just trying to land the no-scopes. But it's Bialy to take his head off. 3 frags for him in that round. 6-15, and, well, I mean, North, they've got to be worrying a little bit now. Their economy's finally taken a hit, which means that VP should be able to find themselves the lucky number 7. Which then only puts them, what, 8 rounds behind VP.
Yeah, that doesn't sound
behind
North,
lucky. Sorry.
If they were 8 rounds behind themselves, I guess that's how they feel right now, to be honest. They have been struggling, and as you said, on social media, they've certainly not been comfortable with their performances. Pasha will just burst out instantly and find 2 players rushing towards him. All 5 of them are going to come hurtling through middle. Just get this round over and done with. Give us some money back so that we can try and finish this game off. Now the buys will come out. Can North close this one out, or are we going to see some sort of spectacular comeback from VP?
I was going to say, I mean, this is great for VP. They've got a couple of rounds together now. They've got money in the bank. That's never going to be an issue. They're just going to be force buying every single round, even if that money does somehow whittle down, if it's a lot of close clutches. But regardless for them, it's a good confidence boost. Currently 7-15. North realizing maybe they're not out the woods just yet, need to actually focus and start to pull this together. And I mean, you know, you can be in that situation where teams come tilted because they have such a big lead and then they start to throw these rounds away. And you see a kind of shift in balance, you know, in the tilt. Like, think of it like a seesaw, if you will.
Okay.
And, you know, right now, North, they're riding high, but they could be plummeting down, lifting VP up. Easy. The only place he's lifting Bialy is to the heavens above as he picks up that first frag. A 4-on-5 ensues. The man advantage in favor of North, and they haven't been able to find anything in retort out towards this A-bomb site. Easy. Boosted up to peek over the top of the boxes in towards A main. Can only see a smidgen of their heads from where he is, but can still wreak some serious damage as he peeks over the top of the smoke. Going to be trying to take this engagement. The push comes in from Pasha on the AWP. AZ doing the damage, and actually Pasha's going to fall as well in the blink of an eye. It's all on Neo and Snacks, and they're going to line up for Magisboy, who does do some damage, but the crossfire going to be set up. They continue their aggression out towards A, but it's all on Neo. 14 HP in a dream. 4 players for North to try and eliminate him, and he will go down. That is going to be North to pick things up. 2-0, both games, fairly landslide victories in their favor, I think we can afford to say. And sadly, that's exactly what we expected, Dan.
And you know what that means, don't you? That means Virtus.Pro, they'll be in relegation. Sad day for Virtus.Pro fans.
Yeah.
Us, we're pretty much Virtus.Pro fans.
The worst thing about it is when you look at it, Kingwin as well, right? I mean,
Kingwin are definitely relegated.
Yeah,
they're full on down.
It's really not a good day. Things, you know, can only get worse from here on as we do start to learn kind of who else
all
is
the polls going down.
Yeah.
Not a good day for the Polish.
No, not one bit. Hopefully, we can see in that relegation game that VP, they find their footing once again. But that's another bridge to cross when we come to it. As for this game, we saw a dominant performance from North. They were clearly very confident. If you want evidence of that, just look at the 5 AWP round. That shot from Snacks was brilliant. But quite frankly, that was really one of the most impressive things we saw. And, you know, a lucky no-scope in through Squeaky is hardly anything to write home about. That's kind of my one issue. All the rounds they did find, a lot of them seem to be on, you know, mistakes made by North. Like, the ones they got back on the back of that poor economy towards the end was just because North were like, let's buy 5 AWPs, you know? We're already here. We've won. If VP win this out, then, you know, we just don't have our buddies relegated. And that's really it, right? There was nothing in it where I really looked at it and saw something from VP and I was like, damn, that's impressive, you know? And that's what we expect from VP.
It is what we expect, and unfortunately they are going to be in the relegation, and we will see elsewhere what's happening. Of course, Hellraisers and LDLC, they're the ones competing for relegation as well. But remember, you can compete in ESEA as well. If you want to head on over to ESEA or play.esea.net, and you can become a CSGO pro, perhaps. And you can battle against some of the best teams in the world, maybe. You might be able to queue into them, and that might be how you you become better. And also, remember, there is the Mountain Dew League as well. That's something that you've got to check out. You can say esea.net/MDL is where you can get all the information. And of course, we have the global finals tomorrow here. Well, actually, Saturday and Sunday this weekend here in these studios in Leicester. So that's something you definitely have to check out as well. But that's pretty much it. That's us wrapped up. Any kind of final thoughts about the season, really, in general for you, Harry?
Yeah, I think it's been a really interesting one if you're a CSGO fan. I think we've seen some ups and downs. It's been an emotional roller coaster from beginning to end. It's been something I've loved to be involved in. I don't know about yourself, Dan. I imagine you've enjoyed it just as much. Oh, okay, no. Well,
yeah,
he's on. No, yeah, I know you had.
I got you.
And yeah, I think I'm very much looking forward to seeing the finals and how that all shapes out, as well as the relegation games. It's sad to think that one of these teams is going to be gone, but at the same time, very excited to see the teams now potentially rising up from that Premier Division, the Mountain Dew League. And all that good stuff going to be coming up very, very shortly. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for a slick outro.
That's a nice slick outro. And of course, we are actually the first game to finish, so there are games elsewhere going on. Make sure to check out all the links on Twitter and on YouTube as well to wrap up this season and find out who is going to finish where. But from myself, from Harry, from the production team as well, have a wonderful evening or night, and we'll see you next time.